Bears. Bears Country Podcast. Welcome to Bears Country Podcast. Today is the second round of cuts. Nomad and I are here to kind of give our takes on some of the players that were just cut recently this morning. Nomad, how you doing, my brother from another bear?
Oh man, just channeling the blues for Dazz Newson, man. I feel bad for my guy. It's just unfortunate, and it's kind of hard on me. Yeah,
Dez Newson had become a fan favorite, hadn't he?
Big time, man. He's one of those guys that, sixth rounder out of North Carolina, pretty explosive. Just didn't, in my eyes, get enough opportunity with this team. But I think one of these days they may regret actually cutting him, because he's going to land somewhere, and given the opportunity, he's going to perform.
I know it's a shame that the previous regime didn't play him very. You would have thought at the end of the season when they were out of the playoffs, they would have put him in the game. He would have been playing more just to see what they had in him. So he never really got his shot last year, right? And then this year, he had some opportunities, but he was kind of up and down. A couple of muffed kickoff return or punt returns. A couple of drop passes. It's just too bad he wasn't more consistent, because I really think he has some explosiveness in his game. And it looked like from some of the plays we saw in preseason so far that he had a spot on the team. I know when we talked about this after the first preseason game, players that we thought would make the team, the wide receivers. In fact, I said this on the Bear Debate. That was one of the questions. I thought Dez Newson was going to make the team.
Well, I mean, if I can go back to last year, he got hurt early in camp, which really kind of stunted his growth with the team, and barely made it onto the practice squad. Didn't see much action until probably mid to late season. They got him off and put him in, and he still didn't get many opportunities when he got in there. Like you said, they could have played him a lot more. Late in the season when we knew we weren't going anywhere, they could have put him in the game a little more. But
right.
Coming into this year, I'm hearing things out of the camp saying he's inconsistent, he's dropping balls and different things like that, and it kind of showed up on the field. So that really hurt him. So I imagine him walking up into the facility today, and I just could imagine how many nerves he had, and it's just a bad feeling.
Yeah, I mean, cut down day is just one of the worst days, right? Everyone's finally on. They're getting a chance to try to live out their dream, and if you stick around for a player like Dazz Newsom that stuck around last year on the practice squad, and seemed to be showing some promise in the couple of games we played this year so far, and it's just. I feel for him, man. Just I'm sure he probably thought he had a better chance of making the team than he did being cut this early.
And he's probably in his head, this morning going over, how many mistakes he might have made during camp and during the games, and he's playing all that stuff out in his head, going to the building, and his, ID works this time. He goes in there and he's around in the locker room with his guys, sitting there. Next thing you know, some equipment manager or somebody walks up to you and taps you on the shoulder. Hey, Daz, grab your iPad, and coach wants to see you. And you know exactly what that means. Yep. And he's walking. Imagine that long walk to the coach's office, man, and that feeling. Just imagine.
Yeah, whereas like the hallway just keeps getting longer and longer and longer, right? Like it's like the scene in Poltergeist. Do you remember that scene? Walking down the hall, it's just, oh no. Just imagine it's going in slow motion for him, and his whole football life is probably going through his head, right? Because you're never guaranteed anything when you're cut in the preseason like this. I'm sure he'll stick on with another team, but you see it happen all the time where players are cut and then they're out. They're off trying to do something with the degree they got in college.
I only know a detail like that because I have a buddy that played He's a long snapper. Probably played 12, 13 years overall, but
Oh,
got
Patrick
cut
Manley.
8 times. Hmm?
I said, oh, Patrick Manley.
No, not that guy.
I'm kidding.
No, no, but he's told me details like that. That's kind of how I know how it plays out. And he said it's just nerves and butt sweat.
Butt sweat.
All, all day.
And that's the other thing too is he comes from talking about Daz coming from being in college in North Carolina, and he moves all of his belongings, everything, moves up to Chicago, and now he's moving on somewhere else, and he's going to have all of his stuff packed. I mean, I can attest. I've moved several times in my life, and moving is the absolute worst thing. It is just such a pain in the ass, packing up all your stuff, having to pack it all up in a truck, take it somewhere else, unpack it, and then you don't even really know if you're going to make that team, right? So it's just everything's just kind of up in the air for players at this moment, with these rounds of cuts coming on. Hopefully,
Dude.
I was just gonna say, hopefully he lands on another team.
Dude, you preaching to the choir talking about moving, man. That shit takes something out of my soul every time I've had to do it. And I've moved a lot in my whole life, not just my adult life, but growing up, we moved around a whole lot.
Me too.
And that shit, it sucks, man. It's like you leave something every time, and I don't like it.
I was just gonna say that, yeah. Like the last time that we moved from Colorado to Georgia, when we moved from Illinois to Colorado, I had so much shit left over. I couldn't even fit it in the moving truck, and then we ended up throwing it out or giving it away. And then when we moved from Colorado to Atlanta, same thing. We had to be out of there that day, and there was a bunch of shit left over in the garage. I had to have my realtor take care of. Thank God she's a family friend and a good friend of ours, and she was able to take care of that for us. But I didn't want to leave all that stuff behind. You just get to a point where it's almost like it's so exhausting. You don't even know what to do with the shit that you have anymore, because you're like, well, I don't even have a box for this. Moving sucks, man.
Definitely, man. Trust me, I know that feeling all too well. Left a lot of stuff behind, but you guys like somebody like Daz, and he's gonna hit the waiver wire if he's and he'll probably clear it if he's healthy. And it takes, I don't know how the waiver wire really works, but if he clears waivers, he could stay there for a while, or he could get picked up pretty quick. But there's always an opportunity that if he doesn't, they can bring him back and put him on the practice squad. But I don't know if I see that coming.
No, I don't either. We kind of talked about this before the show, and it got me thinking that since he was the first player cut earlier this morning, they probably did that as a favor to him to try to get on with another team quickly, right? You would think if they were going to put him on the practice squad, they'd probably keep him around at least for this next game, right? Or maybe have cut him later in the day. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know how that stuff works. I just wish him well, man, because I'm sure he's going over in his head and just regretting a lot of things that might have happened, and wish he had done better. And just now, here he is. He's been a resident of Chicago for about a year and a half. And like you said, he's got to get his stuff all together. Like, well, where am I going to put my stuff? Should I just take it back to where I'm from and put it in storage and just travel lightly? Because he's probably going to be moving around quite a bit. No telling where he's going or how long he's going to be there. And so I just, that whole thing just makes me sad.
Yeah, I know. Me too. It is a very, I don't know, trying to find the right word. It's like it's just a somber day, right? Somber day. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, but you know what?
Go ahead.
My bad. Go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead, buddy.
No, what I was going to say, there's a couple of guys that, like, in particular, Julien Davenport, after watching that game a couple of times, I said it, I think the last time or at the post game, I was just like, that dude's washed. I mean, just washed. He was like a bullfighter out there, just olaying. And I was like, geez, are you kidding me? What is this dude doing in the league? He didn't have any semblance of a professional offensive tackle out there in my eyes.
Yeah, the best plays that I saw him blocking on were when he was double teaming someone with Cody Whitehair, or because he was playing left tackle, right? If I remember correctly, or was that Coleman? I'm thinking of.
No, that was Coleman, I believe. Okay. I think Davenport played right.
Yeah. Okay. But the same thing for both of them, Coleman and Davenport. Their best blocks seemed to come when they were getting help from the guard.
Yeah,
they really didn't do too well on their one-on-ones.
I think to Coleman's defense, he's been out of football, I think, for a couple of years, COVID related or something. I don't know, but he hasn't had chance to be on the field and get reps in a live game for a good while. And I partly give him an excuse for that, but he's going to really need to show something Saturday in order for him to make the 53. Doubt it, but I'm pretty sure they'll give him every opportunity.
I'm sure they will. Just to kind of go down the list of the other players who had been cut, we're talking about Dazz Newsome, Julien Davenport, tackle. He's a 2017 fourth-round pick. Jake Bargas, fullback, undrafted free agent in 2020, picked up by the Vikings. LaCale London, kind of shocked about that one. Defensive tackle, UDFA, picked up by the Bears after the 2020 draft. And cornerback Bo Pete Keys, a seventh rounder in 2020 for the Chiefs. So those are the 5 players that they released today. We kind of just gave our thoughts about Julien Davenport. I mean, Jake Bargas, that's kind of someone you saw that coming, right? I mean, how many fullbacks are we going to keep? If we keep 2, I'd be surprised.
I thought that it was kind of, when I seen the signing, I was like, something must have happened in the Blasting game. And apparently they went out quick and got a body and said, okay, if it's bad, we got somebody to kind of fill the gap. But I guess, after the trainers reevaluated him, it probably wasn't as bad as they initially thought. And so they didn't really have a need for him. So that's pretty set and done for that guy.
Yeah. Was he injured? Curry Blazing game?
I think he did. Something happened probably in practice or something. He had been out. He didn't play at all the last game. And so whatever it was, didn't turn out to be as serious as they probably thought.
Trying to look it up because I was wondering why I hadn't really seen him on the field much. Yeah,
he played in the first game. He set the whole second game.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so he has returned to practice. So, yeah, they just needed the camp bodies for the fullback position.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, do you think you'd see Tongas making the team, or something happens to Blazing game, they use a tight end?
Be honest with you, out of all the tight ends I saw so far, Tongas looked the best in all areas to me. I mean, he's a hell of a blocker. He's really good. If I had to pick a tight end right now, other than Cole Kmet, I liked everything I saw about Jake Tongas.
Yeah, me too. And I misspoke. I called him a fullback.
He is a fullback / U-back.
Right, yeah. He's listed as a tight end, but he's wearing number 46. So I saw him playing a lot of fullback. So, yeah, but like you said, fullback / tight end.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of they call it a U-back in that kind of offense. Yeah, he'll line up just about anywhere, in line with the offensive line, maybe outside in the slot, even back there as a fullback. You just never know. That's why he's wearing number 47. Or 46, whichever one it is.
Right. Chase Allen is one of the tight ends the undrafted free agent tight ends that I was curious to see what he was going to do with the Bears, and he has not been cut yet, so that's a good sign. Chase Allen's they played him a little bit the last couple of games, so I know that they were high on him at the start of OTAs, They had him in there with the first, second units, and he's someone that I think that's the position that they'll be hanging on to him. I don't know why I'm talking about him. We got off subject. I got off subject. So yeah, Jake Bargas, the fullback, kind of a camp body. That's to be expected. LaCale London, he played a lot in the preseason, and he didn't do too terrible. That's kind of one I was a little surprised about. I'm sure he probably is going to end up on the practice squad at some point. I would think. What do you think?
I think absolutely contrary to that. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't good either. He didn't do anything to make himself stand out. He didn't flash much. I seen him get a nice little penetration on one play in particular. But other than that, man, I look at a guy like LaCale London, and I look at maybe the free agent wire or the waiver wire, and you probably can upgrade from a LaCale London just off of that. So I don't see a good reason to keep him, not even on the practice squad.
Okay. Good point. Bo Pete Keys, cornerback, 7th round pick from the Chiefs in 2020. Yeah, he didn't do anything that I saw on the field. So that was to be expected.
It's, watching that game is funny because early in the game he got a nice big play on him. It might have been a 30-yard pass or something like that. But after that, he seemed to have rebounded, and they were targeting him. And he played coverage pretty sticky out there, and he performed well. Somebody's going to pick him up. Definitely going to pick him up. He looked not great, but he didn't really underperform in my eyes. But I guess there are other guys on the team that they feel like they're in a better position with than him. So, I mean, he won't be out there for a long time. He'll be on somebody's team.
And just trying to find him on the roster here. Unless they already, looks like they might have already taken him off the roster online.
Did they?
Yeah, I don't see him. I don't even remember what number he was. You know what number he was?
I believe I want to say 26.
Okay, yeah, okay. That's the number I remember seeing. Let's see, what is that?
Yeah, he didn't. As that game went on, he got better and better.
Mm-hmm.
But he's unfortunately they got guys that they think can play better than him. He's gonna have to find another job.
Well, a couple of your guys that you like, Lamar Jackson. He's sticking around. I think he's probably gonna end up making the team. Jalen Johnson is another one that was kept over Bo Pete Keys. So, those are players that we both have talked about. Things that we've seen from them, you've seen from them in camp and in some of the game action. So they clearly like the other cornerbacks that they have enough to get rid of him.
I actually thought, I think you were referring to Jalen Jones.
Or Jalen Jones, sorry. Did I say Johnson?
Yeah.
Jalen Jones.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought actually Keys looked better than Jones to me, but who knows? I don't know what how they're evaluating Jones. It could be some special teams need. They see him performing better than Keys or something. I don't know. But on the field, in the defense, I thought Jalen Jones looked worse than Bo Pete Keys. But like I said, he could be a demon on special teams, and then maybe that gave him the edge over Keys.
Mm-hmm.
And
because those final roster spots come down to special teams.
Yeah. And you talking about Lamar Jackson, dude? I've seen signs that indicate maybe he's a front runner for the starting left corner.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I mean, I haven't seen anything other than him performing well over there. And like I said, if that's the case, then Kyler Gordon is playing the slot. But he could be playing backup to Kyler Gordon. I don't know, but that's also a win for him.
Absolutely. What was I just going to say? I lost my train of thought. It's because I'm over here looking at the damn roster like an idiot. Yeah, Lamar Jackson is someone that I think is. Oh, I was going to say Thomas Graham. Thomas Graham Jr. has been injured, so he hasn't. But I don't even remember seeing him in the last week's game. Did you? I think he's still injured.
No, he's been out pretty much since the pads went on.
Yeah, and that doesn't bode well.
No, man, dude, that could very well, if he's not healthy soon and gets on the field somewhere around time for this next preseason game, he could very well not make the 53.
You're correct about that. That could be Lamar Jackson taking that spot, just like we said, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Other players that we kind of on the bubble here that we should probably be expecting in the next round of cuts. They probably just kept him on the team for, body purposes because they still have another game to play. You're saying Jalen Jones, Greg Stroman, Sean Coleman, Kevin Shaw, Chris Finke, Jean Delance, Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson had a pretty good first game. A couple of nice bull rushes that I saw. So he might not be as much on the bubble as I think, but I can't. I mean, maybe Kevin Shaw sticks around on the practice squad because of his speed.
Well, you know what they say about injuries. Your best ability is availability, and if you're not healthy, like I don't know exactly how bad LaCale London's injury was, but it could cost him, a spot on the team. They I don't know. They could have seen enough in him in practice and limited action out there where they want to maybe keep him around, see how he comes along. But they very well, some of those injured guys could not make the team because of it.
Did you mean Caleb Johnson or you just said LaCale London?
Oh, my bad. Yeah, Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, we both did the same damn thing. Yeah, Caleb Johnson. Yeah. To your point, they might have seen something, that we don't see in the game action. I'm sure he's also a special teams ace for us too. So, yeah, he might stick around on the team. Not that we should be speculating at all right now. We don't know what the hell is going to happen after this next preseason game, right? It could be shit. Kevin Shaw could come out and have 300 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns on kickoff returns. Who knows? You know what I mean? So it's no reason to sit here and speculate who could be cut next, but just these are kind of some of the names that I kind of had on the list of players that might have been cut today. So it'll be interesting to find out what happens after this game on Saturday.
Definitely. Just on a little side note, I believe Daz and Simba Webster were fighting for the same spot, and I think maybe Simba outperformed him.
Yeah, it looked like he did the last game, right?
Right.
He had a nice kickoff return. He had some nice catches. Moved the chain.
And that was enough.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you got to have consistency, right? And I think that's kind of what led to Daz being cut today, was just not enough consistency there on the field for him to stick around. But we wish all of them the best. I know it's a hard time for everyone. It sucks having to come on here and talk about it, but this is Bears information, and we want to get out there for everyone who just doesn't know who has been cut yet today. I think that's pretty much about it, right, Nomad? Do you have anything else you want to add?
Just to add on to what you just said, wish them all well, man. Keep your chins off your chest, guys, and just get back to work. And hopefully you'll find yourself on the rosier side of things with another team. But thank you for being here, guys, and appreciate every second you were here. Yeah,
everyone, thank you very much for watching. If you do like these videos, make sure to like and subscribe, set your notifications, because you never know when there could be another one popping up, right? There's all kinds of stuff going on now. So we don't just stick to Mondays necessarily. Something like this comes up, we'll get a video out there for you. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Tune in next time. Set your notifications so you can find out when we're coming up next. And until then, ready, Nomad?
Go for it.
Down.
Bear down.
Bear down.